All right. Good morning. Good morning. July 22nd. July 2 2. Wednesday. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Kevin Hawthorne on YouTube. Guys, if you're new here or watching it on the rewind, I'm Bob Turner. This is Live 365, or I just call it hashtag Live 365, where I go live every day to share things about business and life and lessons I've learned and maybe ways to not screw something up. This week, this 10-day series, I've decided to do a little something different, bring some people on that I've had impactful conversations with over the past few years. So people that have shaped the way I think and the way I lead in business and in life. So we got a special guest coming on here in a couple of minutes. So just waiting patiently for him to arrive. He's technically challenged at times. So let's see if you got the link. Jumps on to see us, and we'll go from there. But yeah, I wanted to kind of switch things up a little bit and have some people on that I've either that I've coached or have become friends, or people that have just impacted me in the way I think over the past few years. Like I said, a lot of you guys are building businesses, and you know that they're not built overnight. They're built one decision, one relationship, and one standard at a time. So if we get Mr. Bunker on here, and he may even bring Michelle, I'm not sure. We're going to talk about that. So good morning, Ben Bryant. Oh, thank you. Last night's call was good. Yeah, we had our office hours calls inside of our Edge Live community last night. If you're not a member of Edge Live community, we'll post a link here shortly. It's a membership group, something that I've been just trying to build. Is it free? Nope. Can it help you? Absolutely. Ben Bryant's on there sharing wisdom all the time. Luke McGee's in the mix. Mike Bunker is around. Bubba Hogan is in there. Jess Novak is in there kicking around. We've got many others, names that you might recognize, people that just want to level up together and be in a room that, where people want you to win. Okay. So like I said, for those of you guys joining us the first time or catching it on the rewind or watching on YouTube or LinkedIn, we go live. I go live every day at 8 a.m. Monday, Sunday, Tuesday, doesn't matter. With the hope that can help you build your edge, or help you find your edge, okay? Because I think that the life that you're seeking isn't found by accident. It's built intentionally, all right? So here's a guy that is doing just that. And he's become a good friend of mine, someone that I've coached in the past and helped he and his wife with their business, and been honored and humbled to do so. But anyway, Mark Bunker, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, sir. Nice to see you.
Good to see you. I was getting concerned there. I'm like, uh-oh.
I had to call in the backup to get me on. You know that.
He's got the link. In Mark's defense, I just texted him around 6 or so, or maybe even a little later, and said, hey, would you jump on with me this morning? So, and then I figured that, it's not a good idea to tell a woman, hey, we're going to go live in 10 minutes. So I texted him and said, Michelle is certainly welcome too, but I recognize the fact that she may take my head off if I
yeah, I'll never be ready. I can't be ready that quick.
I can't be ready. She's running around with the curlers in her hair.
There you go. You have peeking in our windows?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, shoot. Bubba says you don't live the life you want. You live the life you focus on. Matt Blood is on, and he's bearing up 95 coming our way to help us with our tile. So Mac, not here, shop. So, well, good morning, my friend. How are you? What's happening?
I couldn't be better. I appreciate the invite. Honored to be on the call with you.
Yeah, no, we're glad you're here. We got Kayla Newton joining us on Instagram, and Jason Wazesa, I think, is on Instagram. I can't really pronounce that name, but thank you for being here, guys. I appreciate it.
That's my PM, brother.
Oh, it is. That's Jason. Okay. I didn't realize that was who that was. Okay. Well, cool. And I saw that Mallory followed me this morning, so maybe she's watching as well. So yeah. Jess Novak is a big Mark Bunker fan. She's here. Well, good to see you, man. I appreciate it. tremendously. I've watched you and Michelle build not only a remodeling business, but a family business. Okay. You guys have had wins and setbacks and conversations and growth and just have continued to show up. Michelle jokes that I'm the marriage counselor sometimes in the or have been in the relationship, right? But today I thought we'd just pull back the curtain a little bit and hear from you like what building a business actually looks like. Okay. So why don't you take a second, Mark, and just tell everybody a little bit about Bunker Building and Remodeling?
Oh God, I've been in this gig for 35 years, doing it all alone, doing not what not knowing what I don't know, and I want to say just getting around the right people like yourself and other business groups. Over the last 5 to 7 years, I mean, I'm afraid to say I've finally become profitable. So I did it all alone. If I could suggest anything to anybody out there, do not do it alone. Find your tribe. Find business coaches to bring you up, level you up. I mean, Bob, me and you joined a business community together, and we kind of grew through there, and become close friends. And then, here we are. You went your way, I went my way, and we still keep in touch.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. 35 years, and we'll touch on Michelle here in a little bit because you know what's that saying? Behind every successful man, there's a woman kicking him in the ass.
Yeah.
How did you know you'd own your own company? I mean, were you a sub? Were you doing carpentry? How did it come about?
I was a lead carpenter for a local contractor, and every winter we would get laid off for a couple of weeks. So I hung on to my friends and family jobs till then,
Sure.
And then it actually just kept snowballing and become a subcontractor and slowly went on. I did not want to do what I do. I honestly don't want to be in this seat. I would rather be out in the field swinging a hammer. It's just the progression,
Yeah, and it is kind of a natural progression at times, and we get what we didn't always wish for. We didn't always wish for the things that we end up with, like QuickBooks and needing to know what marketing is all about and SEO and go all of a sudden going to conferences and trying to level up. And you mean I have to be a leader too and have hard conversations and all that stuff? And so that comes with it. That's that business in a box, so to speak. But tell me about the early years. I mean, what was it really like? Were you just kind of doing the work that was just put in front of you, or did you have today in mind?
Yeah, I was just worried about today in mind. I mean, they were, it was, fake it till you make it, I guess, and we just, pound on doors, kiss babies, shake hands, whatever it took to pick up, from, I'll hang that picture on your wall for you for 50 cents, whatever it took,
Well, best offer. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do people think's easy about business, but really isn't in your mind?
I don't know. I think the stuff behind the scenes, what happens in this environment, if you don't stay on top of it, it is going to get away from you real quick. And that's the stuff I did not know until getting around the right people and getting the right mentors. Again, do not do it alone. You can do it, but I'll guarantee you're not going to be successful. I won't say I can guarantee it, but most likely you're not going to be successful.
It'll be harder. Yeah. I mean, what would you say has been the hardest season in business, if you will? Like, was it the early stuff, or today even, or somewhere in the middle?
I think when I brought Michelle on, that was a hard transition. I mean, I'm not going to get into it unless you want to. She had, a diagnosis that made her stay home.
Yeah.
As she recovered, I think it was 5 years ago or plus. She'll correct me later, obviously.
Yeah.
But she's just hanging around. What can I do for you? She saw me busy, saw me doing stuff. She started answering phones, and then it came on board full time. And there were two different relationships. I'll say that to any husband and wife. And it was a struggle because she's my wife first, but then she's my business partner. And just trying to separate the two relationships. The office is in the house here, so I step out of my master bedroom and I'm working, which is also a struggle.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to separate, you know, business and home, right? I mean, are there some advantages to it?
I think so. I think all our struggles, we've actually grown closer and more in love, if that's impossible. You
Yeah.
know, if that is possible. Because you don't, there's no growth without, mountains to climb.
Mm.
You can stay at the bottom and look at the top and look at the top, but you gotta, to get the top, you gotta do the hard stuff and have the hard conversations and, whatever, tears and
Yeah.
hugs and get to the summit, as you would say.
Yeah, and there's of course there's frustrations, there's tough conversations, and there's um, you know, getting upset and all the thing. But I was talking with Wendy yesterday, and one of the things with us, if things get tense, is never a lack of respect. It's like, oh, this is what I think. This is what you think. Well, shit. What are we going to figure through this, right? Where do you have to be intentional, like super intentional, when you work with your spouse? There's certain things that you just kind of like have to be super careful of.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Where do I start? But I mean, it's just being, like you said, respectful. Take the 2.5, 3 seconds to think before you open your mouth.
I've witnessed that.
It's just something I can handle, or is it something
Right.
I truly need help with?
Yeah.
It's like getting on this live. All of a sudden, I was panicked. I couldn't get on. I couldn't get
Yeah.
on.
She helped you.
She come out wrapped in a towel, and here I am.
Don't turn the camera on yet.
Yeah.
Right? How do you leave work at work? Do you guys have like a certain time that you say, hey, that's it, or is there some sort of intentional shut off when you leave that office space?
It's probably between 3 and 5 p.m. And then when we go into, the family room and everything, and we've come to an agreement, asking permission, because
Yeah.
Michelle is very, very passionate, as, I would say almost as equally as passionate as I am with the business and talking
Sure.
about clients, when it gets after hours and everything. So basically, the Smith job or something, or hiccups that are going on in the business. Is it okay if we start talking about XYZ? Honestly, I don't want to. I want to relax. I'm unplugged.
Right.
And okay, I respect it. She'll respect me. And
Mm.
I might get a little aggravated because I need to get it off my chest before I want to put my head to the pillow. But you got to
Right.
respect it and
Yeah.
talk about it in the morning.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if someone else was working with their spouse or thinking about doing that, what advice would you give another husband wife team?
Set boundaries, set
Mhm.
lanes, stay in your own lane. Granted, we can't do it all alone, whether it's coaching or a wife working with your spouse, but yeah, just open conversations and again, asking permission.
Yeah, I've seen you run the gamut too. Like when I was fortunate to be working with you guys when you're working through some of this stuff, and there was a time when, if somebody asked you a question, you just turn and look at Michelle. In fact, we've joked with you about that, right? But now it's kind of coming around to, and this is very intentional on her part, is to make sure that you're doing some of the things that you need to know how to do. It's not just like, well, that's just Michelle's job, or that's that, and you got to be very careful of this. That's the shit work. I'll just give that to Michelle, right? So there's a level of respect there as a coworker and a co-owner that has to be extended. And I've seen you kind of come full circle to that. Not that you were disrespectful. It was just like, well, it's easier to just have Michelle handle that, right? So talk about that for a minute. How you've had to kind of this isn't even in the past. I've heard you guys talk about it in the past couple of months where you've said, okay, I gotta figure this out.
Yeah. I guess it's a close friend of ours that passed from cancer. The spouse is left alone to kind of swim all by
Mm.
himself. So it was like and I'm close with this guy and talk to him almost daily, and to see what he doesn't know. He didn't know passwords. He didn't know how to get
Right.
maneuver too quick. But he didn't. So what Michelle is doing, and I did not like it. I'll be honest, right up time, and is making me swim, out of
Yeah.
water.
Right.
No, you can do this. You can do that, and
Sure.
and I was probably a month and a half, 2 months. I was wondering, what the hell is she doing to me? And slowly realizing between
Yeah.
talking to friends and family, and oh, this is one of those aha moments.
Yeah.
My buddy Adam didn't have that conversation,
Yeah.
and didn't share all the stuff.
Right.
So I would say stay in your own lane, but you got to be aware of what's going on in the other lanes, and be. It's just like when you're someone's out sick, you need to fill two roles.
Right.
Whether it's in the field or the office. So you
Yeah.
got to know all the stuff.
100%. Yeah, for sure. Well, that's that she's wise to do that, and let's hope you don't ever need it. But she ought to be able to do your stuff, and you should be able to do her stuff. So that's cool.
So
Hey, without this becoming a coaching advertisement, and I just really super curious. You and I invested in coaching at about the same time. In fact, my first memory of you was you being the recipient of an award. It might have been the Through the Storm award or something that the contractor fight gave out, and I sit in the front row, and they called Mark Bunker up, and you're there by yourself, and you were there because Michelle was going through treatment and couldn't get there, and man, I saw you up on the stage, and you just lost it, and I was like, this is a guy that's going to be in my life, and in the years that have come since, I've seen you guys get through that, and kind of move on together, which has just been really cool. So I'm proud to know you, and I know that initially it was just you, and then eventually Michelle kind of came around to say, okay, this coaching thing, I think there's something to this. I think we need it. What made you ask for help initially, invest in coaching?
I honestly don't know. I think I was humbled. You have to, be humble, and reach out. I think I saw the original, like you said, the contractor fight, got in there and seen the value. Michelle would not drink the Kool-Aid, as I call it, until she saw me, role playing and such. And then as time grew, joining your group and, hiring you as one-on-one.
Right.
And I can't tell you how much appreciative of me, and I can see you like it's yesterday. When I need to be put in my place, here comes Bob. Mark, you might want to fire me after what I got to say to you. And you would, right?
I think one time I was going to stand up on my chair. I don't know.
Yeah. But it's,
Shoot.
for lack of a better word, sometimes you just need that bitch slap,
Right. Sure. Yeah,
And I
exactly.
appreciate you for that.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate being able to do it. What's something that you've changed as a result of getting some coaching?
Oh, learning how to, shut this up, because I only had one of those and I've got two of these. So why not listen more,
Right.
And that way you have time to process. You don't have to listen to speak,
Right.
listen to answer.
Sure.
Am I listening, or am I helping you, solve this problem and find out, before you put your foot in your mouth? And that was, my foot's been inside my mouth more often than not.
Yep. Same. We do that, right? Why do you think people, business owners, wait too long to reach out and to get some help?
I think it's being proud. I don't need any help. I can do this alone. I'm a guy. I can do all the stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Shit. I mean, if I found coaching groups like yours and the others, years ago, I would be retired right now.
Yeah. For sure.
Because it didn't teach me the processes, didn't teach me how to be profitable, didn't teach me how to get out of my own head and get out of my own way. And, learn my lane.
Yeah. Well, you've had some employees and people come and go over the years, right? And it's kind of thrust you into a level of leadership that maybe when you got going as a bigger operation, you maybe not would have signed up for, right? Fair statement. Like, shit, I got to have these hard conversations now. What would you say separates good employees from great ones?
Good ones from great ones. Gosh, that's a tough one. I mean, I think great employees are great communicators. I think that's huge. If they're, whether they're communicating with the clients or, here in the office, so everybody's on the same page. I'm not going to say everybody can swing a hammer and everybody can do this stuff.
Right.
It takes a fair amount of training, and but just being able to say, I screwed this up. What can I do next?
Right.
What do you have for cures? And kind of make them figure out their own, hiccup, if you will.
Yeah.
And then if needed, voice your opinion,
Sure.
Would you like to hear my ideas on that? But
Yeah.
I think that's the only way. I mean, Jason and we've got almost 17 years together. And we've had our ups and downs, boy, and he can tell you.
Yeah.
And he actually, a sad part of the whole situation, gave us notice last week. So I've got him for 2 weeks, and it was a hard hit for the business because he's the face of the company out in the field.
Yeah.
But it's time for him to grow and, to grow his own wings and fly.
Yeah.
So I kind of transitioned into how can I support him the best?
There you go. That's
I've
good.
done more mistakes and hiccups. So, when you have a question, please come to me and I'll be behind them.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. What's with regard to leadership? Like, what's a leadership lesson you're still working on?
Just how to be a better one. I mean, I can't tell you, ever since joining groups like this, I've never opened a book in my life. I barely opened one in high school. And just about getting the self-help books, the stuff that feeds you, and it's listening to what are good books. There's books on how to run your books well. There's books on how to get your head straight. There's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you to stack of books. I mean, you as well. You read plenty of self-help books.
Yeah.
To better yourself.
Sure. Yeah. We're never done, right? I think that's the misconception of the personal, development journey, is that there's some sort of finish line, right? Like, okay, I'm here. I'm good at all this stuff now. And there's always room to improve. Looking ahead, Mark, where do you, I think I know the answer to this. Where do you see the business in 5 years?
5 years, hopefully sold or handed off to somebody.
Yeah, there you go. What's exciting for you right now? What are you excited about right now? Because you mentioned yesterday, well, I could retire, probably.
Yeah.
But you remain excited. You remain committed to the business, both you and Michelle. What keeps you going?
Seeing the smiles on clients' faces after it's done, because they reach out for an issue. And all we are is just solving those issues. So we're not the cheapest contractor out there by far. We're not the highest one either, but just to get in there, make your money, and in turn put a smile and solve their problem, whether it's a bathroom, kitchen, or basement. It's just, wow, they had a space issue. Well, now they can put the kids downstairs or have the man cave, or they've been staring at that avocado green bathroom for way too long,
Yeah, exactly. The old yellow tub or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
What's a project you're most proud of? I mean, you've done a ton of projects. What comes to mind when, if you had to, put a flag in something and say, yeah, we did that?
It's probably that a car barn we did, and that's about 3 years ago. And I did not think it was possible.
Yep.
I actually had a ton of head trash, and another business coach, Anthony Abbott, saw me struggling with some head trash about going through that. So he just called me up. He called me up, and he just, guys like yourself and him just sense that. And ever since that, I've got, three words in my head that he said to me, and I went into that project and talked to the client, and left that job with them giving me over $2 million, through the business.
Yeah, there you go. That's awesome. This has been great. I appreciate you doing it and kind of short notice. And so I'm gonna just kind of rapid fire some questions at you. Favorite tool?
Now it would be my brain
Yep.
and dig in there deep. Favorite tool? I don't know. I would say probably the lathe in the
Yeah.
shop.
There you
You know,
go.
spinning custom pens and stuff that I haven't done that in way too long.
That's your happy spot,
Yeah.
right? Out in the
Yeah.
shop.
I
Yeah.
unplugged.
Yeah. Biggest pet peeve on a job site?
I guess if the cords are all tangled up in the walkways, you know, I'll be the first one to straighten them out. I'm a guy. I don't like that annoying, you know, compressor. So I'll walk in there and put it in another room, and you know, maybe put another length of hose on it. You know, because I can't hear myself talk as it is.
There you go.
And it's got to be neat and clean. You know,
Yeah.
whether it's garbage in the pail that's going to sit there for a day or two, that
like that.
garbage, that banana peel or whatever, it's
Yep.
got to be out in the dumpster. You know, not in the house for 2 or 3 days.
Yep.
Which
let-
my guys are great at.
Most overrated remodeling trend?
Overrated. Overrated. That's a great question. Overrated.
Yeah, overrated remodeling trend. I would guess probably 30 years ago it was the big jacuzzi tub, right?
Right.
I've taken more of those things out than I've ever put in. I don't know if I've ever put one in, but boy, I've sawed a bunch of them in half with a Sawzall.
Yeah. Guess what I just did to mine yesterday? One of my son-in-law was over. That jacuzzi tub's in the dump trailer as of yesterday. It's funny you brought that up.
There you go.
A couple of replaced knees after the trade, and I can't swing my leg over that top one. I can get there, but it's not pretty.
Yeah. Mark, what has success changed about you, and what hasn't it changed?
Success, I guess, the appreciation for money and doing what you can, but not being drunk on dollar signs. It's just, you know, money isn't everything by any means. Money can solve a lot of problems, but it is not everything. Success is looking back and saying and seeing the 5-star reviews. It's just going down that list. Matter of fact, I got to answer one today. Another one came in, and it's just seeing the reviews over the years, you know, and remembering those jobs is really a peace of mind.
Yeah, I like that. If you had 1 minute to speak directly to every contractor who's struggling right now, what would you tell them?
Like I said in the beginning, do not do it alone. I did it alone for 30 years, and you know, refinance the house, put stuff. You know, I remember when I was, first cutting my teeth, is just using the Home Depot card, and wait a minute, we got to pay the mortgage, so I'll put the minimum on that card and use Mrs. Smith's bathroom money to pay the mortgage. You know, and that's sad. Not knowing. So please do not do it alone. There are so many people out there to help, mentor, all that stuff. And eat crow. Don't be proud. Just go in and lay all your cards on the table.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. You got to be humble, guys, right? Mark, when we first started working together, what do you think was the biggest thing holding you back? And what do you think is your biggest challenge today?
Holding me back is my pride. I probably don't need this. I don't need this other guy getting up high on his chair and what is he telling me? And so we get off the call, and then I process everything, and it's like, wow, son of a bitch is right. you know, it's just tough. What was the second part?
Yeah, like what do you think your biggest challenge is today?
My biggest challenge is make sure I got all my ducks in a row for retirement. I'm 62. I've always said I want to slow down at 65 and stop at 70. Michelle would probably like to do that a lot sooner, but mentally I just can't. So maybe I do it on a smaller scale. I'm not sure. I need to check the money box off, and that's Michelle's lane. And we have money meetings every Monday after the team meeting. Every Monday, discuss what's coming up and what's going on. Then we have a money meeting.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Mark, this has been fun. I mean, I appreciate you taking the time with me today. Kind of short notice jumping on. I texted Mark, you got time to jump in my life today? And one word, absolutely. All right. So thank you for just being open and honest and being willing to share your journey. I appreciate it. I know there are people watching that needed to hear exactly what you had to say today. And to you guys, I would say, I hope that today's conversation reminded you that every successful business has a story. Okay. It's not all, rainbows and unicorns. There are setbacks and doubts and difficult seasons. And, but the people that keep showing up are the ones who eventually create something worth being proud of. And it looks probably nothing like what they set out to create. Okay. So I would challenge you to take one lesson from today's conversation and just apply it this week. And don't just listen. When this is over, execute. All right. I love you guys. Mark, I love you, and Michelle. I hope somebody shares this conversation out to a business owner that could use the encouragement. As always, guys, go be productive and go find your edge. And if there's anything that I can do to help you out, please DM me. I'd love to have you join our Edge Live community. Mark and Michelle are part of that. And don't forget, we'll put the link in when Wendy gets here, but don't forget about Bubba's Retreat to Attack event, November 9th through the 12th in the Gatlinburg area of Tennessee. And you'll see a lot of familiar faces there. So we'll get the link in for that. Bubba, we love you. We'll keep mentioning the event. Hopefully we can fill the cabins, fill the seats. Mark, anything you'd like to share before we let everybody go?
Again, don't do it alone. If anybody wants to reach out to me, by all means, if they get a question about, Bob's programs and what I've got out of them, I'm more than happy. There's, the contract to fight and what I've got out of there. Yeah, don't do it alone. Me and Michelle has also mentored and had Zooms with other business owner couples, because we all struggle and have the same. So find someone that's made the mistakes, learn from them, and pick their brain.
There you go. Yeah. Mark, I appreciate you. I love you guys. Hope you have a fantastic day. We'll talk with you real soon. Take care, guys. Mark, hang around. I just want to thank you here offline.
Okay.
See you guys.